Hey everyone, it's Mike from Roxbox90 here, back with another video. This one is my hot take on Double Masters. I think this product is not just a good product for the Magic the Gathering community, it is a great product. And that may sound a surprise to a lot of people, especially if you follow many of the other voices in the Magic community who say that this product is exploitative. This product, especially the Double Master VIP component of it, is unfair to a large number of the community. Unfair to not have an option for players that's affordable. And it feels like they're getting slighted. It feels like it's unfair to a large number of players who can't afford this product. So I want to address that specific point because I've seen that crop up a lot, and I don't think that it takes into account the wider picture of what's been going on with Masters products overall, nor the fact that this Double Masters product is actually a great product, not just a good product, it's a good thing for the Magic community as a whole. So why do I say that? So let's talk about the fact that the Double Masters VIP edition, it really does not look like a great product at all. If you watched, Alpha Investments just opened up, Rudy just opened up a whole bunch of boxes, a whole bunch, and he's going to be opening more of Double Masters VIP to try to get a sense of the trends of what you see. Is there mapping going on? How does the product look? How does it feel? So on and so forth. One thing he notes, the foils at least sounds like they're generally pretty good quality. Thank the Lord. Even though in this opening alone, he gets a misprint right in the front of a pack in terms of their curvature and so on and so forth. The box looks pretty awful given how much money you're paying for it. Doesn't have Wizards logo on the shrink wrap, which is going to make repacks a real issue, especially because when you open it up, the pack itself that holds the cards is not tightly vacuum packed sealed. So there's a whole bunch of problems I have with this product. I'm not trying to defend Double Masters VIP as a product, but I do want to emphasize, by breaking out the foil component of box toppers and such away from the Double Masters regular box, it creates more options for players, more options for people who don't like certain kinds of, not just product, but kinds of cards. I have moved away from liking foils for a long time. They're a pain in the neck to maintain. They're much more expensive. And if you do it, put your money into them, it's much easier for them to get damaged, for them to wear, clouding, scratching, curling. It can disrupt your ability to play in tournaments. Your friends can have a problem if if the foil's curled enough, it can mess with your deck height and can mess with your deck play, so you can actually tell which cards are where. There's all kinds of issues with foils, more broadly speaking, and I am really not a fan of foils anymore. So if you guys remember, and this is what the main comparison I want to make in this video, if you remember back with Ultimate Masters, you had to buy one product. There weren't two options for those who wanted it. There was one product, and that one product only had foil box toppers. So if you wanted a box topper from Ultimate Masters, you had to get the foil one. And you only get one per box. So for someone like me who wanted a non-foil box topper, back in the day, I didn't have the choice to get a non-foil box topper. But because Wizards broke it into two products and moved the foils further up into the price range and made it where it's something that a smaller number of players will have access to and to get, yes, foils are bling. They are the, quote, premium version of Magic. But you know what? Because they did that, they made it possible to have non-foil box toppers in the regular boxes so people like myself could get those, which I think is a fantastic change in the Masters product. If you told me between Ultimate Masters and Double Masters what's the biggest change that I'm happy about, that's the one. I'm really happy that you can get non-foil box toppers. Same problem we've had with Commander decks, where you have the Commander Legend is only printing when it first comes out is in foil, and you can't get a non-foil version. What if you don't want a non-foil version? Well, you're stuck. Too bad. That's what you're stuck with. And what if you hate foils overall because of a whole bunch of issues I just listed before? Then you're stuck with it. So Wizards, by breaking out and making a more premiumified version of Masters, actually makes it possible to print things that, for players like myself, can get a hold of. I think that's fantastic. Also, if you actually just compare the products themselves, the regular Double Masters, forget the VIP, the regular Double Masters product, it is a better product in terms of what you're expected to take home for the price. Now realize, Modern Horizons did the same kind of thing. Modern Horizons took what should have been a slightly premiumified set like Conspiracy would have been, like a $120, $130 box, and they turned it into an almost $200 product. And a lot of people were very frustrated by it. But you know what it did in the long haul? Overall, what impact did it have in the market? It was one of the most widely opened sets in recent years, and it encouraged Wizards to make a product that would really sell like fire. That was a great product. So you know what they did with Double Masters? They said probably the same kind of thing. They said, we're going to put out a product that's within expectations of master sets. This is not a $500 product. This is not something that's supposed to blow your socks off. This is within the band of typical master sets. Ultimate Masters already set the expectation for Double Masters to be quite reasonable. Ultimate Masters was, when it first was announced, was $225 to $250 a box. And you know what? That was lower than Double Masters. But guess what? When it got close to release, the price started to rise. And it became, I got in, I think, right at the floor, right at the lowest floor before it started to climb above 300. It was like 270 or something like that, 270, 280. And then it hit 300 and it hasn't looked back since then. So Ultimate Masters, you get one box topper. The 24 packs, you get one rare, one foil per pack. And the set was so weighted into the mythic, in terms of the value of the set, was weighted into the mythics that if you didn't pull one or two of the better mythics, you basically couldn't break even. It was almost impossible for the box to be worth your while. And it was also slated towards modern. So let's look at Double Masters and say, is this really such an egregious product? Is this really something that doesn't provide options for players? The answer is, in my opinion, that it does. You get twice as many rares mythics, and you get twice as many foils as you would have gotten if you bought Ultimate Masters. And for a price point right now, I'm seeing them anywhere from $280 to $320. You can find online. I'm sure local game stores maybe charge a little more. Don't know about that. But you can find online for that price range, that band, which is actually cheaper than Ultimate Masters was closing in on its opening. And you get significantly more value. Also, the cards in the set, yes, there's a huge number of more cards, which means you do have more, quote, chaff cards, but the cards overall are significantly more playable and significantly more valuable in multiple formats, which is a huge, huge deal in terms of impacting the wider market. Now there's an article by Saffron Olive, which we'll go into. I'll probably have a video on price values and where I expect like the floor is, when I expect I'm probably going to buy in for cards. I'm not a financial expert by any means, but I'm going to give my opinion about that in a separate video. This article by Saffron Olive, you should read. This was written in June, way before we've had the spoilers for Double Masters. And you know what? He nails it on the head, which is that this product is going to promote wider health for the game and make it more possible for players who want to play with the cards. Forget the product. Who cares about opening the product in terms of the wider health of the game? It's who can actually get access to the cards to play with them in multiple formats. The limited play for this alone is going to have all kinds of issues with you get to pick 2 picks in your first pack in order to allow you to get potentially value. You don't get messed over in the drafting pool for a set this expensive. The whole limited format, nobody knows how that's going to turn out. But you know what? That's not the long-term importance of this product, of whether it's a good draft set or not. The important part is that it's going to lower value on a ton of cards that are multi-format staples, particularly Commander, and make it where it hits them so hard the floor is going to drop out under cards that many, many players desperately want to have and haven't been able to get because of scarcity, haven't been able to get because they haven't been reprinted enough. And you know what? That is good for the game. That is good for players. And that means this product is actually great because from a price point perspective, like Ultimate Masters, since the value is there's tons of amazing cards in the set, and the overall eval, it's going to drop over time, and it's probably going to drop below the cost of buying a box. But until it does, people are going to open this. They're going to open it and sell because they're going to make bang for buck, especially because you get 2 box toppers per box. So the only thing that could really hurt this engine is depending how much Wizards can print. But knowing Wizards, they're probably going to print into Q4. They'll probably have a second wave to come if this first one really explodes. And from what I'm hearing, looking at Reddit and so on, it sounds like some stores are getting allocation cuts, not at the VIP, because actually not as many stores want to have the stock levels that was initially figured out and arranged with distributors. So distributors have more product, and so they're willing to fill gaps for stores that actually rent out. So that's all fine. The Double Masters regular boxes have actually had allocation cuts in a number of stores, so that could be a potential problem in terms of if you want to help the wider market, you need to have enough product in the market for that to happen. I don't think this product is going to have a problem selling. I don't even think the VIP is going to have a problem selling. It's going to help the players overall. This article, I don't want to dig into the whole article. Go read the article. It will make you a smarter person, and realizing that he wrote this way before they spoiled the set. And his main point, the core point being that because the box is worth, the eval of the box at start is worth a pretty good amount, it's going to get a lot of product opened. When it gets a lot of product opened, yes, a lot of the cards are not going to fall that much. The ones that are the core staples, the Force of Wills and Mana Crypts, they're not going to drop and tank. But a lot of the cards that are very good playables that are wanted in Commander and other formats, those are going to tank And they're going to be accessible to players who couldn't afford them, and make it where they can play Magic again with cards that have been pushed out of reach because of the marketplace shift over the last couple years. I think that is huge. And he gives examples from Ultimate Masters. This is not something that is bizarre. It's not something that this has never happened before. We have a case study from 2018 called Ultimate Masters. It's a very similar product, and it was released. Yes, it's not released after COVID, but it was released after the holiday season was going bananas in terms of people spending every other kind of product for the whole year, all the way down into November. And then they dropped this product on top of it. And you know what? It still sold. And you know what? It still helped players, and it still drove down prices, and it still helped. And a lot of the cards haven't recovered to their astronomical high, but that made it where these cards are now more accessible and affordable to players, which again is the core point of this. It's a reprint set, but it's designed to help all players at all bands. It's the question of how do you get it into market? The people who can afford it, buy it. They buy it, they open it, they sell it. Maybe they make a profit, maybe they don't. Irrelevant. The point is more cards hit the supply, which helps players overall. And if you've looked through the set, you know that this set has a lot of great stuff in it. It really does. Is it something that every single card is going to be perfect? No. Is every single mythic going to be worth money? No. Is every single rare going to be worth money? No. But you know what? That's okay. Because enough of it is that there's a draw to open more of it, which is going to push down the prices on the cards that are playable. If not, they may not be worth a ton of money, but they're playable and people need supply to be able to play with them. And it'll drive down the price on even the most expensive cards, making it where people who are maybe not happy spending $100+ on a Jace can now spend $60 to $70 on a Jace and finally get their Jace the Mind Sculptor to play with. And I think that is the core takeaway from this. And you know what? This is part of Wizards' wide approach of trying to provide more options for players, more options to the market depending what you want, how you want to access it. We've had multiple reprints of the same cards this year. A lot of people are saying that's not fair, that's not great. Why would you have a reprinted Mystery Booster and then have a reprint again later in the year? Why? Because the card is so expensive that the only way to drive down its price in the short term and make the supply large enough for players is if you print more of it. You need to print a lot of it. And if you have a product that has a limited amount of print run, especially with COVID, but even pre-COVID, you know that you need to have a 1-2 punch in order to bring the price down. That's okay. The reason I say this is because Wizards has been making all kinds of products that are good for players as well. I want to underscore the fact that Double Masters as a product is not the only product out there for players. Players have lots and lots of options these days, and many of them are very affordable for players who want them. Obviously, you have Commander decks, you have Brawl decks, you have the Challenger decks, you have booster bundles, you have starter kits, game nights. Even the regular booster boxes are now, their eval is going down, and I could see in the long term that the price of those booster boxes could be something that stores are willing to shave off even a little bit more of the price on. Instead of charging $110, $120 for LGS, now they have other products that they can move towards that to make their margins on, like the set boosters that were just announced in, when you have the set boosters coming out, collector boosters, obviously. The regular draft boosters, I could see them potentially stores are willing to take a little bit of a hit in order to get people to buy those because they're opened and played and people will use them in the stores, and then which will generate more engagement with the store and more revenue and so on. And so I can actually see that some things like the draft boosters maybe become a little bit cheaper even because of this method of segmenting the market and making it where stores can sell certain products to certain customers who are willing to pay a little bit more and make potentially some of their products a little bit cheaper for players who want to just play the game. Again, all this is facilitating the wider play of Magic and helping players at all levels of income be able to play the game, which I think is fantastic. Now, you want to know what a garbage product is? You know what a dumpster fire product is? You know what's bad for players? Products like the Throne of Eldraine Deluxe Collection, which was a terrible product for the person who bought it, and it's a terrible product for the market because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't actually help the market. It doesn't actually put enough out there to make an impact in the market in terms of bringing down overall prices and supply. You know what's another terrible product? The Mythic Editions that they used to put out, especially the War of the Sparkle, which I got caught up in. Terrible product. You know why it's a terrible product? It doesn't actually help the wider market. You know what does help the wider market? You know what actually brings down prices on numerous cards that many players need and want for their decks to play locally, their game stores, with their friends? Double Masters does. This does not. You know what also doesn't? How about the Secret Lairs, especially the Ultimate Edition? You know what's a terrible idea to try to get product into people's hands? This approach. The approach that they did here, where they gave limited numbers to stores and limited numbers to distribute, to wider players, this is not how you help the wider market. Double Masters is how you help the wider market. And so I hope that the takeaway from all this, which is what Saffron Olive talks about in his article, the takeaway from all of this is that Double Masters is for you, even if you can't afford to buy a box. Even if you can't afford to buy Double Masters VIP, this product is for you because this is going to help you have access to cards to play with. I think he wraps up with Voltaire's quote, "Perfect is the enemy of the good." That's what I'm going to wrap up with. And I'm going to say perfect is the enemy of the good here. Making this product into this is a bad product, or making this out like it's bad for the game, means that you don't know your history, because Ultimate Masters was not so long ago and other Masters products were not so long ago. This is not breaking the mold on any of those products. And this product, if it has enough allocation in the market, if Wizards is willing to print enough of it, this product will help players in a lot of ways, including myself. And so I want to hear what you guys think. Is this actually such a hot take? What do you think? Do you think that I'm completely wrong, right, based on what I'm saying? I gave you my points. I'd love to hear yours down in the comment section. So please tap the like button as you head down there. Let me know what you think about the topic, and I'll come back with my more financial-oriented aspect of it around the cards themselves, what to look out for and pick up in my next video. So thanks for watching. Mike from Roxbox90 signing out. I'll see you guys next time.